Hi viewers, Arthmael returning with another build video, this time with my crew, or one of my Crusaders. Last Crusader build video I think I did was the sweep build. This time I'm going to try the shield bash. It's what I'm calling my Corrupted Shield Bash Crusader. Follows some particular items, so obviously the Roland set. I'm just go through some of the items now and then the skills and my Paragon Points setup. So the particular items for Roland's, I'm using the helm with a amethyst in it to increase his vitality. Shoulders, rolling resource cost reduction because you do use a lot of resources for this particular build. The gloves with nice, not a bad little roll, considering none of these are ancient yet. It's got strength, vitality, crit chance and damage. Roland's pants and the boots, and we've got increased shield bash damage on the boots, which we'll go through when you see the other items that complement the shield bash. The amulet, we're just running with a golden gorget, I think that's how you pronounce it, of Leoric. No particular legendary rune in that one. I'm only running two legendary legendary gems at the moment. I'm using the Syndicate to get the discount for resources on my fire skills, because again this is another build that's based particularly around fire skills. I'm trying out Drakon's Lesson braces, which has a legendary proc of when your shield bash hits 3 or fewer enemies, its damage is increased by a certain percentage and 25% of its wrath cost is refunded. In conjunction, I'm also trying out the new belt, the Belt of the Trove, which has every 8 seconds cooldown bombardment on a random nearby enemy. Hasn't got bad stats, and I find that it's pretty good for some of those lesser mobs that get around you and you just can't get to with your shield bash. Using the Ring of Royal Grandeur, of course. This particular one I have set with a legendary gem of Teguk, which increases your damage after spending your primary resource, which we spend a lot of. You'll see the icon appear quite often and get quite high. Using just an ancient litany of the Undaunted ring, which I found, which has a nice increase to attack speed and resource costs. It came with a socket already, so I've used the legendary gem, the Gurguk of Swiftness, just because the increased attack speed, and then it reduces your cooldown obviously for your Accurate Champion and other skills that you use. The shield, I've crafted one from the blacksmith, the Piro Marella, which reduces the wrath cost of shield bash by up to, I think it's up to 50%, and I've got 49% on this particular one. Not a bad little roll, but again, it'd be nice to find an ancient one. And the piece de resistance, as they say, is the weapon. I've managed to find a Corrupted Ashbringer, an ancient one. Hasn't got the highest stats, but they're pretty good. I'm very happy with it. Particularly, obviously, the legendary proc where you raise 5 skeletons, they explode, and then you actually get the Ashbringer itself, which has the highest percentage weapon damage as holy. Mine currently roll at 5,816% out of 6,000, so not too bad. I find it works quite well. So I've started a bit of a rift. We'll just have a look at some of the skills and then we'll jump back into the rift and finish it off so you can see some of the gameplay. At the moment, for my primary skill, I'm using Carve, the Carve rune on Slash, just so I can generate some additional wrath when I need to. My primary skill, or my main damage dealer, is Shield Bash, and I'm using Crumble, again another fire-based skill, so that it gets the benefit from the resource cost reduction. To generate some more wrath, I'm actually using Shield Glare with the rune of Zealous Glare, so we get some more wrath when we get a little bit low. You'll find this particular build is really wrath dependent and really relies on resource costs reduction and just your resources all around. For mobility, Steed Charge with Endurance. I'm using Laws of Valor, Unstoppable Force, so this reduces the wrath cost of all your skills by 50% for 5 seconds when you trigger it. You find that I'm hitting that quite often sometimes because it does recharge quite quickly with the combination of all your other cooldown reduction stuff. Accurate Champion with Fire Starter, again another fire-based skill, just for the additional damage, and mainly use that for elites and some of the bigger bosses and that sort of thing, but I do try to trigger it as often as I can. Passive skills, we've got Finery, Wrathful, so we get some healing for all the wrath we spend. Obviously Heavenly Strength, so we can carry the two-handed weapon as well as a shield. And at the moment, this one's optional, but I'm trying out Towering Shield, so I do get that increased damage from my shield bash and reducing the cooldown of my shield glare. So I find it comes in quite handy and helps me get around. The gameplay is really quite jagged. It's backwards and forwards because you're shield bashing and you're jumping around the screen a bit. Having a look at my Paragon Points, at the moment I've got max into Maximum Wrath. I've put a little bit into movement speed just so I can get around a bit, and then strength has got the rest of them. In offense, we've gone with critical hit damage, chance, cooldown reduction, and then the remainder into attack speed. Defense, we've gone the other way, life, armor, resist all, and then life regen as our last skills. And utility, we've gone with first primarily resource cost reduction, then area damage, life on hit, and then gold find. So we'll jump into a rift, or the remainder of a rift, and just see how it goes. So this is a T6 rift. You'll notice I'll sometimes struggle with some of my resources, but I'll try and keep up with hopefully the packs, and it shows how effective it can be. So the one strike with your shield is quite good, and when we get a big dense group of villains, or baddies I should say, it works quite well. And like you can see there was some champions that basically have gone the way of the dodo already. So we use our shield glare here, just punch through the door. So everything pretty much is one shot. There are a couple of things that take a couple more than one shot, but you find that the Ashbringer, it's actually glowing at the moment now, so it's in Ashbringer mode, so it does the 5,000% more damage. It seems to proc quite often because you're killing things so often and you're generating those skeletons that then eventually explode. You get the Ashbringer form a lot more regularly than what you would think you would. So we've got a bit of an open space here. I'll show you how it sort of slides around the shield bash version and how we can jump from one group to the next, just pummeling with the shield. And we've got a dead end. We'll just quickly check these chests, see if there's anything exciting. Alright, so we've got some champions down the bottom there. We'll go after them. I know they're coming up after us, even better. So we'll trigger at Akrat's champion and just lay into him. We'll put a legendary down the bottom. And as you can see, it pretty much just annihilates everything again, which is really cool. Different sort of gameplay again. It's not for everybody, and it is dependent on some items. Like I was really lucky to find the ancient legendary Corrupted Ashbringer, I think, because it's quite rare of a find. Although I have read some places that people have found multiples of them, so that's good for them. I'm finding that this is the first time one's dropped for me, and I was just lucky enough to get an ancient, that it's really, really good with the damage. Let's see if we can trigger the Rift Guardian soon. Oh, we've got a bit frozen there. You can't be far off, that's for sure. So you can see the belt there proccing the bombardment every now and then as well. It sort of helps with any of the stragglers that get away and things you just can't be bothered with, some of the lesser enemies. We need to find some enemies so that we can trigger the Rift Guardian. Gameplay is definitely a lot better when you're in more of an open space. You just seem to, like here at the moment, just slide from one point to the next, taking everyone out. We've got a nice set of elites at the same time that have just died because I'm using my Akrat's champion at the moment. I use my law, and you just see how quickly this guy is down. So he's gone already. So it works quite well. I hope to refine some of the equipment and have a better build video up eventually, particularly if I can find some more ancient weapons, or ancient gear I should say altogether. It works quite well. This is the Corrupted Shield Bash Crusader and his journeys. I think he looks pretty cool too as well, with all the transmogs and the weapon of course as well. Hope you enjoyed. I'll be back with more build videos and also continuing my Let's Play series if you've been following that. Thanks again for watching.